Greetings and salutations everyone, I'm Ekmak, this is Limbus Company, Mnestic Experience. In the last episode, we got sent into this world again. Memory transition is active. These guys we already know, but what are you all about? Upon entering the encounter, gain memory transition, retreat and transition to a different location at 0. When returning to the field, gain that current battle form of the foe homeland. Based on it, gain swordplay of the homeland, Sal. Convert all, at min or max stacks, convert all coins to unbreakable coins. Base power and coin power shift bases on the stack. Lose base power, gain coin power at low stacks. 5 stacks does nothing. Gain base power and lose coin power at high stacks. Bear Hunt. Gains advantage at higher swordplay. Uses a pattern mode of single coin skills. Use a pattern made of multi-coin skills. Gain advantage at lower stacks. Take less damage from bleed, burn, tremor, rupture, and sinking. Gain fixed panic. If panicked at turn end, reset and go to 45 SP. Upon entering the encounter, gain Dujeong Sal. When gaining this effect, gain shield equal to this unit's max HP. Gain defense level for every 2 stack. Lose a stack when taking shield damage equal to 10% of shield's HP. When Sal expires, end encounter. The Eastern Warstride armors are not so much equipped as they are piloted. Escor's Dujeong Brigandine is one example of such armor. Much like Arcor's powered armor suit and the full plate armor used by Knights of the West, Dujeong Brigandine greatly augment the user's offensive and defensive combat capabilities. Yet these advantages do not mean armors of such potency are readily supplied for combat personnel. Each unit has its own unique controls and comes with limitation of requiring separate fuels. What remains certain, however, is that with the aforementioned armors, once a rider has familiarized himself with Dujeong Brigandine's extended reach and heightened power output, he becomes a machine of war that strides across battlefields with the promise of slaughter. Uses a different battle form of the homeland every 3 turns. If we have shield, gain poise and poise count. When the following conditions are met, use a pattern that includes Bow of the Homeland Arrow Loose. When this unit loses all clashes for 2 turns in a row, in the turn after the turn which this unit spends stagger when in low morale and or in panic. So he uses Bow of the Homeland for losing clashes, getting staggered, or going into low morale. The Sword of the Homeland, Escor's traditional art of swordsmanship, is also divided into 3 branches: Sal, Ki, and Pyo. Within their teachings exist techniques to hew and cleave through creatures of colossal stature, such as Sangums. To perform them in full, the swordsman must wield a great plando capable of bearing the strain of the techniques. While in battle, perform Bear Hunt. At low stacks, gain 5- stack Fragile. When in the battle form of the Homeland Tiger Hunt, gain Fragile equal to surplus stacks. On Clash Win, gain Poise Count. If this unit skill hit has less than 5 bleed potency, inflict bleed and bleed count at attack end. Once per skill, prioritize the main target. Those who persevere in training for lack of talent. Then there are those who are blessed with talent only to let it rust. All men say that the Apex Blade can only be seen by the gifted. It matters not, until the day comes for this blade of mine to rise high enough to meet the clouds. I shall persevere in honing my prowess. When Clash lose, gain head-splitting memory. Darn it, I was hoping it would stop raining. Low morale, gain Fragile. Panic. Gain Fragile, double the effects inflicted by Bow of the Homeland Sal Arrow Loose. Oak Splitter. Bear Splitter. At 6+ poise, convert coins into unbreakables. Reassume Stance, unaffected by swordplay of the homeland, unclashable with assist units. Prioritize Sinners. If the target skill is an assist defense exclusive, convert into unbreakable coins. Lose 3 swordplay of the homeland at clash start. If the target's skill is assist defense, this does not activate. On hit as an unopposed attack, or on hit against a target that used assist defense, gain 2 swordplay. Unaffected by swordplay of the homeland, gain poise count, and gain crit damage on hit. We can rely on an assist defense here. So she's going to block one and retaliate the other. Wow, we got absolutely no prize skills this turn.
물러서지 않겠습니다. 써주마!
I didn't actually check what sort of stance he's in at the moment, darn it.
네 상대는 나야.
For some reason, Utis didn't avoid that one. Assume a new stance, transition. Swordplay of the homeland has reached 2 stacks. Okay, that'll at least give us a whole bunch of SP up.
즐겁겠군.
두정을 참아. 숨을 거두리라.
I feel like giving him a Wrath Envy combo, it's a skill that has Wrath Envy but mostly Pride, just fits perfectly into this because you've got Blade Lineage Sang, you've got to Sinclair. There's a decent amount of Wrath and Envy off to the side, but it's still focused mainly into Pride. Although, saying that, Sinclair desperately needs a Pride skill. Yeah, Pride Ego, so he can stop breaking the Pride Resonance chains. Target the enemy with the most bleed, unaffected. I appreciate it. Oh man, that paralyze actually came off perfectly. The downside is that, ooh, apparently something went really wrong with her. It was probably because she didn't flip all heads, I guess. Flash Phenomenon Projector, huh?
그림자 없는 햇살은 없으니 이 그늘 또한 기꺼이 받아낼 뿐.
At one stack, retreat at turn end, transition to a different location. When returning to the field, he loses it based on stacks when in battle form. Okay, so it's going to turn back into the boss.
물의 배들.
달빛이 밝다. 그 문까지 맺힌 나를
야! 재워냈어요. 처음으로 숨통을 튀었던 순간을 기억하나요? 참, 지금으로요.
Do again what you just did. You've got another crushing blow in you, right?
그림자 없는 햇살은 없으니 이 근육 또한 기꺼이 바라겠어.
I want to get the 3 hits to try and burn through his bleed as quickly as possible. Swordplay of the Homeland. And now he is in his Tiger Hunt. Use a pattern made of multi-coin skills, gain advantage at lower Sword of the Home play. It isn't saying anything about Flash Start, lose Swordplay of the Homeland. So, Flash Start, gain 3 Swordplay of the Homeland. Gotcha! So it's actually let one of them go through. Okay, so pay attention to which stance he's in and choose which one to clash with wisely. And that's why it doesn't trigger on assist defense allies or assist defense, because it's not going to punish you for actually having those and having them interfere with attacks that it was supposed to. Lower stacks, so this gives it higher stacks regardless of whether we win or lose.
물러서지 않겠습니다.
숨을 거두리라.
Maybe we should have interrupted, maybe we should have intercepted her attack as well. lose at clash start. On hit, gain 2. So clash with this one, not that one. Combat start, gain, poison, poison. Great. It was supposed to be a 10-turn round and we're pushing... Oh dear. How much more shield do we need to break through though? $939, we've almost gotten there. I was hoping that we could get a heavy finish because I think the corrosion might deal more damage. But I think it's just not worth it. It's not safe. Let's give it another Slayer, see what we can get.
오작 터뜨려주지.
I think we can crack this shield at least.
참아. 숨을 거두라.
써주마.
I shall set my form upright. Just a little more, and I think we may be able to smash that dang thing to smithereens, but... Yeah, but it's really hard to focus on one thing with that huge warrior zapping in and out of reality as soon as we make ourselves an opening. It would make our lives a whole lot easier if we could get rid of just one of them. The battle seemed to be taking a toll on the sinners, more so than usual. It wasn't that we were up against an insurmountable foe. Not even close, not to mention how Ezra and Angdu were here to help us out. But... shite, haven't they had enough? About time they gave up, innit? Boy, don't you go legging it again. The big sword-carrying fellow sure is kicking our butts, but I don't know if they're the key to solving this distortion. We ain't exactly flush with options, are we? Our exit's blocked, and it ain't like we can stop mid-fight to strategize. With the battlefield constantly shifting and flashing between N core and S core, we simply did not have the breathing room to focus on either the projector or Dujeong, who was swinging that great sword with frightening force. Besides... Undo, go cover his back too! It shall be done. N core was sending far too many people against us. There weren't that many at first, but it seemed that the sudden spike in employee casualties in an area so close to the nest had alerted N core to our location. How do we get out of this? Forced, Utus, help me out here. I decided to stop racking my brain trying to navigate a situation I know so little about, and instead rely on the sinners with possibly more experience in the field. First, I need to know if there's any way we can deal with the endless reinforcements N core is sending after us. And second, will defeating Dujeong or destroying that projector bring an end to this distortion phenomenon? If I may speak freely, Executive Manager, it is unlikely that our present force will be sufficient to overcome the current rate of enemy reinforcements. Not only is this battlefield situated in close proximity to the enemy's stronghold, but there is an unpredictable variable in that strange machine that makes neutralizing even a single wave of enemies difficult. I regret to be the bearer of bad news, but we are trapped in a battlefield with but a single exit, which the enemies have already blocked. Without reinforcements of our own, there is little hope of prevailing through this current predicament. Yeah, seems that way to me too. But maybe if we can neutralize the distortion phenomenon at the very least. Forced recommends entering the Dungeon of the Fathoms as our exit. Dungeon of the Fathoms? But how can I enter if we can't even talk to the distortion? Wait, maybe during the LCB regular checkup back at the LCE, he says all you have to do is read what's in that note in front of his distortion. Apparently it's some kind of a code. Right, keywords! This one seems to be a location type distortion, which means that regardless of where the bright flashes take us, N-core or the twisted caricature of S-core, we're still within its range. In other words, as long as I have the right keywords, I can summon an entrance to its Dungeon of Fathoms from anywhere within it. Okay, so what are the keywords for this distortion then? Hohenheim had provided us the necessary keywords for his distortion back then, but this time we had to figure it out on our own. First things first, one of them has to be photograph. It's obviously been present throughout the entire phenomenon. If I may, perhaps experience may be one of them. He's saying put his 2 cents in, having briefly retreated from battle to the back lines. There is an undercurrent of obsession with experiences staining his every trail. It must have aught in relation to what has caused his distortion. Experience, the concept alone lacks substance. It must be something more grounded, something that is at once synonymous with experience while maintaining a thorough line to N-core's technology. That was the core of his obsession. And experience? Most likely thinks forced. Alright then, photographed canned experience? Naught seems to transpire as of yet. It didn't, but I could feel it. Are these the kind of photographs they use to make canned experience? So that's what that strange sensation was. Mentioning that word shook the distortion and caused that rippling effect. but it was clearly not enough to force open the dungeon of the Fathoms. How many other keywords could there be? Scraps. Sorry? Oh, I thought we were all taking turns sharing what might have caused him to distort. And going by the way you folks were saying your piece one after another, I thought this was to be some sort of a Zen riddle. Not a Zen riddle, no, but where'd scraps come from? See, when enjoying the benefits of slacking off at work, all kinds of mundanities come to possess far more interesting qualities, sometimes even revealing secrets invisible to eyes focused elsewhere. Take our person of interest, to wit. He has been poking around this area of town with an eye-wateringly expensive camera in tow, so conspicuously that every store owner I'd lightly prodded for information has tales to tell about him. Each tale added another facet to the long saga of a once-grown man. A man with a can-do attitude, an uncanny ability to pull himself by his own bootstraps, and clear a path towards Nest residence, who became so bewitched by photography that he eventually squandered his fortune on what was, in the end, nothing than a pastime. And that went on till he found himself reduced to a pauper, barely making rent on a scrap heap of an apartment. In pursuit of his ideality, the man lost his grip of fortune and reality. He sought out his apartment and found a few scraps of his writing. When cold rain drips through the roof, when mold and tepid humidity together encroach from the earth, the mind begins to wander, lost. Eventually, madness is evoked in a form indistinguishable from drunkenness. The pauper loses himself. A shadow darker than any I had seen on Kim's face crept beneath the shade of his eyes. No, I had seen that look once in the past. Though it would be more accurate to say that I had heard it in his voice that echoed in his fathoms, distorted by guilt and regret. Perhaps I shouldn't be surprised by the fact that this distortion has, among the countless people here, taken a particular interest in bamboo-hatted Kim. Photograph, canned experience, and scraps. Like inserting a final piece of the puzzle, the space before us momentarily warped and flashed, opening a pathway in distortion's fathoms. Well then, we will be right behind you, Executive Manager. Miss Ezra, this is what I had seen then, the gateway to one's fathoms. Ah, this is it, huh? Neat stuff. But, before she could finish, Ezra had to redirect her focus from our discussion back to the battle. Most of the sinners were caught in the same predicament. Some managed to disengage from the battle and prepare to enter the dungeon of the Fathoms, but Honglu, Gregor, and several others were still busy holding off the Encore employees. Ugh, they're gonna follow us right in there if we run now, right? Probably. Even those who aren't chained to Dante like we are can travel through the pathway once it's open, so... Yeah, let's not drive ourselves into an even narrower corner. I'll keep them at bay. Hearing that, bamboo-hatted Kim stepped up. My sold arm's not what it once was, but should be enough for this. Besides, I have little wish to set foot in some ill-omened place and be entangled in such a bizarre mess. Is that really what he thinks? There was something in his eyes that led me to believe this was about more than just staying behind to protect our rear. He was... WTF? Huh? What a terrible front. At least try to pretend to be sincere and make it easy for us to believe you. Did you think that terrible excuse was going to fly? What are you trying to avoid, sword swinger? You're not some kid trying to get out of doing his homework. I remember hearing that entering a dungeon of fathoms will bring one to a spiritual fathoms the distortion is gazing into. And what lies within must be my very known, for that is what that abomination is gazing into. It's decided then, you're coming with us. We ain't about to walk in blind to a place we know shite about, mate. Guide us in there, yeah? Ah, that's... He keeps it simple. You try that too. Learn the hard way that homework, like summer reading, doesn't go away just because you don't look at it. It's still there even as the summer break comes to an end, ruining the last day of your vacation into an all-nighter. Shiki's tablet vibrated cheerfully in agreement. Stop procrastinating, go do your summer reading. What was it you said? Face the homework, save the GPA. Face the sin, save the ego. It is, after all, the attitude the company expects of its employees. Go, Junior. You guys too, LCD. I can handle them all on my own. You'll make a lone stand? Hey, who the heck do you think I am? I'll show you why Team Leader Moses felt safe sending me out alone with you guys. This was basically a monster of the week situation for Team Leader and me back in our duo days. I can handle them on my own, no problemo. I wanted to see how you guys handle the inflection point, but I guess you can never really have it all. Ah well, guess I'll just have to trust our two OSA team newbies to handle that. Now that I think about it, I think I'm setting a pretty solid example as a team senior, aren't I? I don't like this, but it seems that I have no choice in the matter as long as this employee card hangs from my chest. With a sigh, Kim shook his head and joined us, dragging his feet all the while. I shall take the Vanguard. Mentor, be warned that the entrance is floating. Take a tall step over or you may trip. I can clearly see that, Angdu. Bring me a ladder if you're really that worried, why don't you? Have you need of one? Only a jest, you needn't worry. Victory! I feel like the nonsense with true swordplay of the homeland is really helping catch up the blade lineage.
판세는 완벽히 우리에게 있었다.
But that means that if you don't get enough pride on your first turn, then you're going to start backsliding pretty fast. Anyhow, so A, we have question mark fathoms, but B, next episode we can have a look at the new Honglu, so that'll be interesting. Until next time guys, take care, I'll see you all around.